Welcome back, guys, to another edition of Bamcomixs. We just finished watching episode 3 of Wandavision. And if you like our content, guys, make sure to hit that subscribe, hit that like, hit those notifications. But wow, what an episode. This episode now in color brings to light even more revelations, guys. So picking up from episode 2, we see color and the intro reminiscent of the 70s. Wanda is 4 months already into an accelerated pregnancy. And this episode was just like insane. We see the first revelations, the first major reveals come to light. But you know, this episode is only 32 minutes long, and in this we see so many revelations that the viewer can't help but notice there's something really wrong going into this environment. There's something really bad happening, something really wrong happening, and Wanda is into this accelerated pregnancy and it's affecting her powers. We see that throughout the episode. Her contractions are affecting her powers, they're affecting the environment around her, and basically Vision is trying to prepare for all of this. The episode opens up with the doctor also informing them that, you know, she's 4 months along, and when he leaves, it's kind of like Vision is trying to prepare himself for all of this. And like anybody who's concerned, who's expecting a child, you want to prepare for everything. And Vision is actually calculating in his head when, you know, Wanda, she's like growing. So now she's like 6 months and Vision is like, wow. So he's calculating in his head that at this rate, the child would come in 3 days. You know, basically Vision is trying to prepare for what I think is the noticeable revelations, like the cracks in the facade of the fantasy world that they're living in begins to show, guys. Once she gets to 9 months, it definitely takes Vision by surprise, and he admits that after everything that happened, something is not right. He's like thinking about what happened in the first episode, in the second episode, and now in the third. It's like, you know, he's starting to feel that there's something wrong, and he admits that to her. So it's like in their subconsciousness, they also know that something is wrong, just because when they're picking the names and deciding in the nursery that they're making, Wanda's using her powers to make the crib, make the room presentable for the child. When Vision is saying, well, he should be called Billy, and Wanda's like, no, a more American name like Tommy, so it's Tommy and Billy. When Vision drops the Shakespeare quote, all of the world is a stage and we are the players. Right? So it's like the Truman Show, right? It's like they're being watched and they're participating in this live action human play. But to whom and why are they doing it, right? To whom are they participating in this play? To whom are they putting on this performance? It's like a slow hypnosis. Like they're in a world right now. They're in some sort of an isolated facility that at once, like, it conditions them in such a way, a simulation, that they know they have powers. If they really wanted to know what was going on, they could use their powers and totally, you know, leave. They can leave, right? But in the clues in the show, Vision could deliver the child. Vision is like, you know, he's the amalgamation, of course, Tony Stark's original AI Jarvis, with some parts of Tony's personality and some parts of Ultron, and of course the Stone, right? So Vision has the knowledge. He could deliver the child. And this is what falls into like what I call this character paradox, that these characters are so powerful, but they're under some sort of a spell to which they have powers. They don't want to show their powers. They don't want to reveal their powers. They don't know how they got there in the first place. They don't know where they came from. They're just there. They know they have powers. So when she's gonna, her water broke, and you see water coming from the ceiling, like it's affecting her powers, each of these contractions. When it comes to 4 months, 6 months, now at 9 months, and this happens in a matter of minutes in the show. It's like so accelerated that Vision is like, okay, I'm gonna get a doctor. Even though Vision could be the doctor himself and deliver the child, he's still under some sort of like in this sleepy world, in this world where you're like not fully conscious of everything. You're not fully awake to the realization that something is not right. I mean, he's starting to come to it, and he does admit it, but something is not right? So he runs to the door. He could have just phased through the objects, right? He could just phase through the door, but he decides to run to the door. He opens it, and then he leaves, okay? He runs, opens it, he leaves, gets the doctor. Meanwhile, while Vision is getting the doctor, Wanda is at home here trying to maintain when her next door neighbor, Geraldine, knocks on the door because her contractions are affecting the environment so much that everyone in the community of Westview is affected by her powers, right? So everyone's lights, like, they just went off because her powers, she's so powerful, right? So once Vision is gone and Geraldine comes in to just talk about her day or whatever, Wanda's trying to hide her pregnancy from Geraldine, and it's humorous, it's kind of like that little comedy element in the show. But it really gives credence to like what's underneath. There's an undercurrent of like this dark undercurrent underneath. You see the stork, and then Wanda tries to like, make the stork disappear at every turn. Eventually the facade is found out. She can't hide it anymore, and Geraldine helps to deliver the child. Vision comes back to witness the birth of Tommy, right? They didn't call him Billy, they call him Tommy. But it's not over, as Wanda has another contraction. She's still pregnant. She gives birth to twins. And at that moment, they're so overjoyed that when it's all over, that the doctor admits that Geraldine has the qualifications to be a nurse, and they're all happy. And Vision escorts the doctor out of the house. He walks him to the door, and they walk outside. And it looks like the doctor's not going to take his trip to Bermuda after all, which was what he originally planned. And he drops a clue to Vision that he says that, small towns are so hard to escape. And he's still thinking about escape to where? Where are they going to escape to? And at that time, you see his next door neighbor, Herb, who's cutting the grass, and there is a glitch in the Matrix, okay? I believe what happened here is that her powers and her contractions, right, caused her powers to freak out so much that not only did it short circuit or send an EMP pulse or whatever, or shook the foundations of the system, but also of those outside of the dome. Because at the end of the episode, spoilers guys, this is a spoiler review, like if you haven't seen the episode by now, spoilers, that outside of the dome there is a presence. There is actually, in fact, a dome. And thank you for the NYPD, the boys in blue. Woo, 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 woo. The foundations of this of Wanda's psychic powers, because of her contractions through her pregnancy, her psychic powers not only affected the immediate living spaces that she inhabits, but everything outside of her house. So we're talking, of course, her neighbors, as I said before, and also everything outside of that. And when that happens, it causes the citizens, or who knows, maybe the watchers of this community, the overseers, to also start to freak out in a way. It's almost like they're robots, and this pulse, this psychic pulse that Wanda emits every time she has her contractions starts to damage things around them, and they're already showing flaws in the system, as Herb, instead of cutting the grass, he's cutting through the concrete barrier that separates his house and Wanda's house. Everybody knows him as Vision. So right there, they gain maybe some sort of awakening over their masters, and begin to admit that there's something wrong as well. When he says, you see the neighbors there talking, or you think they're gossiping. When Vision escorts the doctor out, he sees them there, and they ask him, hey Vision, is Geraldine in the house? Probably Geraldine was not supposed to even go to that house, but because they needed to find out what was going on when Wanda had this pulse that fried the electricity and everyone didn't have power. Of course, Geraldine, maybe she knows, maybe she's a willing accomplice, maybe not, maybe she's a spy, or maybe not. She goes in there. Of course, they deliver the twins or whatever. Vision's away from the house, and inside the house, you have an exchange between Geraldine and Wanda. And Wanda comments when she sees the twins in the crib that she was also a twin. And this is when, of course, there's like a little bit of a short circuit on the part of Geraldine, because Wanda admits that she was a twin, and her twin was Pietro. Now, of course, those of you know Pietro was in the Age of Ultron, and that's when, of course, Geraldine admits, well, that was your brother. He was killed by Ultron. And that is what breaks, like, that is kind of like right there at that moment causes a break in Wanda's consciousness, as to now she's awake, she's fully awake, and she's like, wait a minute, what did you say? And so what's being built here is exposition, right? Build up in the story. And I think this is a great foundation for what's to come. I just think that this piece is a small part of the event. While you see that inside of the house, Wanda and Geraldine are having this confrontation. Outside of the house, you see Vision having a similar freaky occurrence with his neighbors, with Herb and this lady who I can't remember her name, but they're outside, and Vision is like, hope you guys are alright, like, do you have power and whatever. But like, they're talking, and then Herb almost, he almost confesses to everything that's happening, right? But at that moment, like, the lady catches him and tells him, she's like, I gotta leave, right? But but Vision is like, Geraldine, like, the neighbors are like, well, what's Geraldine doing in there? Like, she has no family, no home or whatever. And at that moment, Vision also realized something weird is going on. When Vision comes back into the house, Geraldine is nowhere to be found. Where's Geraldine? Wanda already, she like blasted her out of like, not existence, but like, man, she was so angry at that point that she sort of, I don't know, used her psychic powers to sort of just like blast Geraldine out of Westview. We see that at the moment when Wanda tells Vision, when she answers with Vision, we see at the moment that when Vision asks Wanda where Geraldine is at, Wanda tells him, she had to go home. So we see when she says that, we see that the black bars on either side of the screen just sort of like open up, and we see that Geraldine is transported outside of what looks like a dome structure. At night, in the evening, we see that Wanda completely blasted her out of there. And there you see at the end of the episode, where is she? Is she home? No, she's been blasted out of the dome. We see that there is a strong military presence surrounding this dome, which it's now become clearer. Now it's become clearer to the viewer, like what's going on, like this whole charade, this whole ruse. use, right, is an effort to contain these superpowered individuals. There's no other choice. I believe, like, you know, after I saw this episode, I was like, I gotta see Civil War, because there's something about Civil War and the Sokovia Accords and the fact that if you're not going to be registered as a super powered individual, if you're not going to go in line with the UN sanctions, then you're going to be locked up. Now, in the events of the Civil War, we know that Wanda chose Captain America's side, and at the end of that, we see her imprisoned in the raft. When Captain America frees the Avengers from the raft, we don't know if Wanda was already transported off of the raft before. So maybe this takes place after the events of Civil War, and the reason I believe that is because still, Wanda's a weapon of mass destruction, okay? Like, you know, that doesn't mean that she's a bad person. It's that Wanda and Vision are both enhanced individuals, and according to Thunderbolt Ross, Sokovia Accords, they don't grant visas to weapons of mass destruction, so they have to house them somewhere. The first time she was under house arrest at the Avengers compound, and after that then the raft, and now this dome-like structure. And Vision told Wanda in the Civil War, if you leave this place, they'll never stop being afraid of you. And it turns out that what happened was she left, okay? She became a fugitive, like Steve Rogers, like Black Widow, like Falcon. They became fugitives after the events of the Civil War. So I believe that WandaVision takes place, and again, this is a theory, you know, I'm not 100% sure of this. If you guys have other theories as to when this show takes place in the MCU, please leave comments down below. But I love the episode. I thought it was a 5-star episode, and it's building, guys. Like, these shows are building towards something, and I just can't wait. I thought that it was great how you see the dome at the end, right? It's like, okay, that's a major, that's a major clue. They're in like a Truman Show type of sedated reality, because they don't, they're like, they want to live. Another thing, guys, that I might have, overlooked, but what I thought was important, that while watching Civil War, there's like a lot of clues. In the MCU, of course, universe, there's a lot of clues in the movies. And one of them came to mind that during Spider-Man Far From Home, we see the introduction of Mysterio and his technology, which creates the ability for people to see illusions, right? Things that are not real, and to actually interact with them in a way and believe that they're real. And the confession of course, Mysterio, that Tony Stark during the events of Civil War had also used his tech. At of course the MIT function where Tony was basically giving a lecture at. He had debuted aspects of Mysterio's technology that allowed him to relive his early days in his youth when his parents were still alive, and how that would be able to help cope with trauma. And of course, after the events of the Civil War, there was some trauma, because Vision and Wanda did fight each other at this airport in Germany. They fought each other, and so there must be some trauma after that, because the Avengers broke up. So I know that there must be an evil corporation behind this, or some sort of bigger entity, but they might be using Mysterio's technology to power this illusion in the dome. And just, it's so interesting, like, this show gives the viewers the opportunity to come up with their own ideas. I mean, it might not be that, but I think it's interesting. Like, if it was that, it would be cool, like, you know, to probably get something right that you know, predict. But, you know, given the clues, the only one who has access to technology like that is Mysterio. And so, like, you know, if this is an illusioned weave from Mysterio's tech, that would definitely be an interesting connection. But that's it, guys. That's all for me. I thought that was pretty cool. And let's see what other things lie in store for Vision and Wanda. It's going to be very interesting how they break out of this place. It's going to be very interesting when, you know, they're powered up, of course, to full capacity. They won't be able to contain them. So tell us what you guys thought of the episode. Did you enjoy it? This has been OC for Bamcomixs, guys. I give this episode 5 out of 5 stars. I loved it. And tell us what you thought in the comments below. Make sure to hit that subscribe, hit those notifications to, you know, hit those notifications and hit that subscribe. Make sure to hit that like. And man, tell us what you thought in the comments below, guys. Did you love this episode, or was it okay, or what, guys? And we'll see you on the next Bamcomixs, guys. This has been OC, and I'll catch you on the next one, guys. Make sure to hit that subscribe, guys. Peace.